Daniel Harper had spent years dreaming about the Philippines. Crystal beaches, smiling locals, jeepneys painted like moving rainbows. So when he finally landed in Leyte, the British tourist felt like he had stepped into a postcard. The air was warm, the streets were alive, and every corner felt like a story waiting to happen. He explored markets, tried street food, took photos with strangers who treated him like family. But that afternoon, everything changed. Daniel had taken a van from Tacloban to a smaller town near the coast. He wanted to see a hidden beach a blogger had recommended. The driver dropped him off at a dusty roadside junction. "Beach is 15 minutes walk that way," the man had said. Daniel smiled, adjusted his backpack, and walked down the narrow road. But when he reached the shore, the sky turned dark, very dark. Within minutes, the wind howled, rain poured, and the empty beach became a storm trap. Daniel ran for cover under a small shed, but his phone had no signal. And that's when he realized something that made his heart drop. He had no idea how to get back. The storm lasted longer than he expected. When it finally slowed, evening was already creeping in. The road back looked unfamiliar in the dim light. Daniel walked and walked. No taxis, no tricycles. No people. His phone battery, 12%. He tried Google Maps, no signal. Tried calling his hostel. Failed. He laughed nervously. "This is fine," he muttered. But deep down, he knew it wasn't. An hour later, the road split into two dirt paths. No signs, no lights. Just jungle sounds. His battery, 5%. Then, headlights appeared in the distance. A colorful vehicle rolled toward him, painted red, blue, and yellow. Music stickers, chrome mirrors. A jeepney. Daniel stepped into the road and waved both hands. The jeepney slowed. The driver leaned out. "Hey, boss. You okay?" That voice was the most comforting sound Daniel had heard all day. The driver's name was Rico. Mid-50s. Warm smile. "Kind eyes. Where you going, sir?" he asked. Daniel tried to explain. The beach, the storm, being lost. Rico nodded like he'd heard stories like this before. "Hop in. I take you to town." Daniel climbed inside, soaking wet, exhausted. There were only two other passengers, an old woman and a teenage boy. Both smiled at him like he was already one of them. As they drove, Rico asked about England. About snow, about football. Daniel relaxed for the first time in hours. Streetlights slowly appeared. Houses. Stores, life. He felt safe. Then he reached for his wallet. Empty pocket. He checked again. Nothing. His stomach dropped. His wallet was gone. Daniel's face burned with panic. His wallet had his cash, cards, and ID. He must have dropped it at the beach. "Sir?" Rico asked gently from the driver's seat. Daniel walked up, embarrassed. "I don't have money. My wallet's gone." The other passengers turned to look. Daniel felt ashamed. "I swear I'm not lying. I can transfer money later, or go to an ATM tomorrow." Rico studied him for a moment. Then he laughed softly. "Relax, boss. You think I leave you on the road?" Daniel blinked. Rico waved his hand. "You are a guest here. Today, you ride free." Daniel didn't know what to say, but Rico wasn't finished. "Actually, you stay in town, right?" "Which hotel?" Daniel told him. Rico nodded. "That's far from my route. I take you there." The jeepney turned off its normal path. The teenage passenger whispered, "Kuya Rico, that's not your way home." Rico shrugged. "It's okay. He needs help." Rain started again. The old woman smiled at Daniel and handed him a small towel from her bag. "Dry yourself, Anik," she said. Daniel felt his throat tighten. Strangers, helping him like family. When they reached his hostel, Daniel stepped out, overwhelmed. "Please wait here," he said. "I'll get money from reception." Rico shook his head. "No rush. We trust you." Daniel ran inside. But the receptionist had worse news. "Sir, the ATM network is down tonight." Daniel stood there, defeated. He walked back outside slowly. I still can't pay." Rico just smiled. "Then next time you come back to Leyte, you ride with me again." Daniel thought the kindness was over. It wasn't. Rico reached behind his seat and pulled out a plastic bag. Inside were 2 bananas and a bottle of water. "You didn't eat dinner, right?" he asked. Daniel shook his head. "Take this." Daniel almost refused, but Rico insisted. "Storm day, you need strength." The teenage boy added quietly, "Welcome to the Philippines, Kuya." Daniel couldn't speak. His eyes filled with tears. He had traveled thousands of miles. And the most unforgettable thing wasn't a beach. It was a Jeepney driver with a big heart. 1 year later, Rico was driving his usual route when someone tapped his shoulder at a stoplight. He turned around and it was Daniel, holding a small box. Inside was a framed photo of the Jeepney and an envelope. Daniel had come back, this time prepared. He paid for a full day of rides for Rico's passengers and handed Rico a letter that said, "Thank you for saving me when I was lost. I will never forget Leyte because of you." Rico smiled, shaking his head. "See? I told you, next ride you pay." Both men laughed. Two strangers. One storm. One Jeepney ride that turned into a story neither of them would ever forget. Sometimes, the places we travel don't stay in our hearts because of the views, but because of the people who show us kindness when we least expect it. Daniel came to Leyte as a tourist. He left with a story about humanity. And somewhere on a colorful Jeepney, driven down a tropical road, kindness is still making its daily route.